All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give our praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakapadash. Double honors to the elders and our apostles of Great Millstone taught us this truth. Salutations to the hopeful elect that's around the four corners of the earth. And also the brothers to teach sworn in sincerity. I'm the brother Iwo Lummi from the GMS Chicago branch. Here in Chicago, come back at you with another lesson. And Lord willing, I hope it be edifying. I'm just basically titled this lesson, the difference between the two-thirds and the hopeful one-thirds. Because what this is what happened last Saturday. Of the time of me doing this lesson. You know, um, you had the Lord basically showed you, a possible one third and a nigga, a two third, and we actually had another nigga that came to camp, that was drunk, getting in brothers' faces. But this is basically the Lord showing you, the possible, hopeful righteous elect, which is the one third, and in these two thirds, the Lord is basically making it clear, of the possible one third, like I said before, in the two thirds. So I'm gonna play this lesson because what the two thirds of our people is bugged the fuck out, you know, and it's a lot of it's a lot of spiritual things that happen at camp, this last Saturday that passed, a lot of lessons can be pulled from this, and a lot of lessons can be learned, a lot of I'm gonna just play it, just to basically prove what I'm talking about. Give me that scripture. Ever learning, but never go to I got it. See, you ain't look. This we're about to describe it right here. Now, hold on. The Bible is about to describe it. See, that's the difference. Everything we say and do is filtered through this book, this word. I know. You'll never hear me say I think and feel. You'll never hear me say that. You'll never hear me come out here with I think and feel what I said. That's what got Moses in trouble. Chapter 3, verse 7 says, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Yeah, it's a lot. I might talk just for a little second, but and I'm gonna just jump into some precepts, but just to basically show you that the Lord has, blinded two-thirds of our people with these different books, as the brother, Yanagi is reading. The Lord has blinded, two-thirds of our peoples with these different philosophies and things like that, because what ultimately this word is not for everybody, as the elder Malcolm is finna go into, this word is not for everybody. The Lord is only reaching out to his hopeful righteous elect, and it's a Gadite brother that comes to camp, a little in a second, of the possibility of being of that one third, that hopeful righteous elect, that number, the great multitude, which is the one third, the 144,000, the great multitude, which is the one third, but let's continue. I got Ecclesiastes 12 and 12. I got Ecclesiastes 12 and 12 too. Bring it out. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 12. And further, by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books. There is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. And so it's a weariness of the flesh, and then you never really come to a conclusion. All right. Let me bring out a precept. This is actually, let me see real quick, because I got a decent amount I want to go into. As the brother, Elijah was bringing out, this is the book of Ecclesiastes 12 and 12. It says, and further, by these, my son, be admonished of making many books. There is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. Right? That's only one book, that we should be pulling from, and that's the Holy Scriptures. You might read a history book, just to back up everything that the Bible is saying, touching up things, touching on topics like Alexander the Great, for example, we might have a book, just to touch back through the Holy Scriptures, but it's one book, that we pull from, and that's the Holy Bible. That's the only book that we need, because pulling from all these different books, is will basically bug you the fuck out, and that's what this two-third Jake was basically saying, because I believe he's a two-third, as the brothers believe also, because ultimately, like as the elder Malcolm was finna go into, this is not for everybody. I want to get this one also. This is the book of Ecclesiastes 5 and 1. Because when this guy came up, he was, it might seem like he was sincere at first, but when this guy came up, we, picked up, through the spirit, immediately. So this is the book of Ecclesiastes 5 and 1. It says, keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of Yahweh, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Right? Because it's a comment that this guy make when we was basically telling him what's, because he was basically saying that he was in a position that we were in, and then we were basically telling him what's the name of the Lord, and this guy says, he refers to, the Most High as a woman. He said her. Just to basically show you that these people are bugged out. These people don't know the scriptures. The Lord doesn't want 2/3 of our people. And this is a clear example of a 2/3. He was basically coming up with his own, knowledge, his own understanding. But when you come up, you're supposed to listen and just be quiet and let the word come out. Because what? You might miss something very important. But ultimately, Yahweh Shem Yahushua has blinded, 2/3 of our people from getting this. Because every time a 2/3 want to come up, they want to talk without even listening to what's coming out. But ultimately, that's the Lord blocking them from receiving understanding.
Right, because all those different books are going to have different philosophies. It may be similar in some cases, but it's
right, the humanities too.
But it's gonna have different philosophies, and then you never really come with the winning answer.
You get the humanities too.
Because based upon what you study, how long you been studying?
Shit, I started
A decade plus, right? I give 10 years plus.
More than 30.
Okay, three plus years, right?
Yeah.
Of all the knowledge that you've accumulated, what is the end game of the knowledge that you've accumulated? What is the end game?
And it's time for us to do it ourselves. And nobody finna come help us. Nobody. And nobody finna come help us.
So this is another sign of a 2/3. They don't have no faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. The hopeful righteous elect will have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushai as it was predestined since the beginning. As I'm finna bring out in a second, the Lord, the sheep hear the Lord's voice. This guy's not a sheep at all. The Lord doesn't want, the Lord doesn't want this guy. But let's play a little bit more.
Right. So in the midst of us trying to organize, which we haven't done since the fucking civil rights movement,
Exactly.
in the midst of us trying to organize, what is your enemy getting ready to come with? What is he coming with now? Like what? Somebody give me a face. Like what? You heard of the mark of the beast?
Yeah.
What is it?
How you gonna describe that?
However you know it to be.
Okay, we gonna say it's the mark of the beast is what they say is gonna be able to show you. Or it's gonna be the chip that's gonna be in your
What chip?
It's gonna be whatever chip you decide that's gonna be your bank.
Dorito? What chip?
I know.
No.
You said the Dorito chip. The Dorito
You
chip.
said it's going to be a financial, it's going to be linked to a financial system, right?
Yeah, like
You won't
Bitcoin.
be able to buy, like Bitcoin, right? So out of all the things you studied, what told you that? LeBron ain't tell you
No,
that.
none of that. No.
The 5%ers ain't tell you that.
No.
The Egyptian Book of the Dead ain't tell you that.
No.
What told you that?
I did.
You sure?
You see, this is a 2/3. The Lord is making, the differences between a 1/3 and a 2/3, and I'm gonna show of a possible 1/3 in a second. But just to basically show you that that this guy is bugged out. This is all the mentality of a 2/3. The only prophecy, regarding the MOTB, which is the I'm gonna just say the Dorito chip, will avoid getting this, lesson taken down and avoid getting a copyright strike. He said he came up with it. Somebody told him. The only way to read about the MOTB is in Revelations 13 and 16. No other book has that prophecy at all.
You sure you didn't read that in this book? You sure you didn't read that in Revelation? You sure you didn't read that?
No.
There you go. Hurry up. There you go. There you go.
God calling you.
Go ahead.
They ain't real. So let me change that.
But let's continue with the scriptures. I'm gonna jump back and forth into the video, just to keep this about the word. I'm not trying to, detour nothing. But it's the book of Romans 11 and 9. It says, and David saith, let their table be made a snare, and a trap, and a stumbling block, and a recompense unto them. Verse 10, it says, let their eyes be darkened, that they may not see, and bow down their back always. So Yahweh Shem Yahushua, has darkened the eyes of 2/3 of our people. As the brother Kapatazar Kappa was going into, and Eli had read the scripture, and I read it, just a second ago, Ecclesiastes, or was that the 12th chapter, how it says, going into many books, so this guy was basically going into many books, but ultimately it was the Lord that gave him that delusion, of going into those many books and confusing himself, because what Yahweh Shem Yahushua doesn't want to deal with 2/3 of our people. The Lord doesn't want to heal 2/3 of our people from receiving this truth. Only the hopeful righteous elect will receive this truth. The Lord deals with quality, not quantity. The Lord doesn't want everybody. The Lord is only dealing with that remnant. And I'm gonna show you the possible 1/3 in a second. This is the book of Proverbs 3:5. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart," which is a representation of your mind, "and lean not unto thine own understanding." Right. So this guy, the whole time when we was at camp this past Saturday, was leaning unto his own understanding. What did he say? I just played the video. He said he told himself that that the Dorito chip was the MOTB. And he talking about, as the brother Kapatazar was going into, you didn't read it from Revelations 13 and 16 because what? Revelations 13 and 16, it's the in the Bible, it's the only, it's the only thing that describes the MOTB of being the Dorito chip, which is the MOTB. And this guy said what? That he told himself that it was the MOTB. So the Lord is going to destroy a lot of these 2/3. They're leading unto their own understanding. Different things like that. It says what? It may be a way that seems right unto the man, but the end thereof is the ways of death. Loosely paraphrasing. So this guy's walking into his own destruction, and you got his woman, acting a damn fool. Also, that's another lesson for another day. It's a lot of lessons that you could pull from this particular camp that happened this past Saturday. But let's continue. See if there's anything left on the Proverbs. Yep, this is the book of Proverbs 3 and 6. It says, "In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." Right, because the Lord is directing the hopeful righteous elect's paths as we speak. It says, verse 8, it says, verse 7, it says, "Be not wise in thine own eyes, fear the Lord, and depart from evil." So this guy was being wise in his own eyes, because there's something else that he said also, as the elder Malcolm had said, this is not for you, speaking to the guy that's talking. And then what did the guy, it's in a video, he responded back and basically said what? That he said that this book is not for us either. So the Lord, this guy being wise in his own eyes. So the Lord is ultimately what? Is going to destroy this guy. But let's continue. Let's go back into the video.
They not acting. That's his guy. They not acting. Is that your guy? Set this shit straight. Okay. So now, going back to the mark of the beast. Right. It's like Bitcoin, blockchain, a digital currency. The Bible foretold that 2,000 years ago.
And ain't nobody get on these highways and byways talking about it but us.
And we ain't seen it. With all due respect, we haven't seen it. The Bible didn't mention Bitcoin 2,000 years ago. The Bible mentioned the mark of the beast 2,000 years ago. The mark of the beast, but like you said, it can be whatever you want it to be. I never said that. What you say? I said, what do you call the mark of the beast, bro? You said whatever you want it to be. I asked you. Right? That's what you said. Whatever you want it to be. So the mark of the beast will be money in your pocket.
Just to avoid making the lesson too long, let's... What? The hopeful righteous elect, which is the 1/3, is going to be sincere about this thing. Damn.
David, all right? King David, all right?
Let me see, can I actually go back to actually find this Salakia brothers? Believe it's 45 minutes going in.
Haven't seen the Bible didn't mention written more than 2,000 years. Great company, a great company of men wrote these holy scriptures. And I gave y'all the name of God. I said Yahweh.
Nah, you did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I said
Not the one. They might want to worship her.
Bear with me for a second, brother. Yeah, this is the brother right here being the prophet. But
That's how they worship. You mean Jew?
and this was the brother that, you know, as we perceive through the spirit of being a Gadite, you know, of the nation of Israel, you know, the tribe of Gad, you know, the so-called Native Americans, you know, this guy, you know, was coming up asking sincere questions. So you finna see the complete difference of the last guy we had, which was a two-third nigga that came up and asked, you know, basically, you know, in his folly, you know, basically being wise in his own eyes. And we have this brother right here coming up asking sincere questions. So let's play it.
You know what I want? And then give me Psalm 86, yeah. Bring out the Psalms first.
verse 6. I said ye are gods. All of you are the children of the Most High.
All right, but and they really said son.
Go ahead. It says, what? But ye shall die like men.
Right, but ye shall die like men. So we lost it. So, and how did that happen? Read the Jews now.
Hey, just a little more of this. But read that last part. It says, but ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. Note the word. It says, you shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. Now we're the Israelites. Y'all shall.
And you see the whole vibe change within the camp. You know, this is being of a possible 1/3 of the hopeful righteous elect. You know, a person that wanted, you know, that wants to come up and be edified. You know, a person that's not, you know, not being a scoffer, that sincerely wants to know, you know, answers of the scriptures of what's going on in current day society, of why people was in the condition that they're in. So you see the difference of a 2/3 nigga and a possible 1/3 of the nation of the hopeful righteous elect, Salakia.
All it means, he brings power, or he brings God. That's why he said we were gods, but we were down like we were the prince. And that's what the Lord gave us Israel. He brings power. He is the prince of God.
So that ain't got nothing to do with Israel and
That's
right. This is the English.
But let's skip ahead just a little bit for the sake of time.
So, yeah, bring the brother Frank over here.
The Bible indicates that, I think Paul in the scripture said, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities,
All right, I'm gonna just basically leave it off right there. You know, I'm gonna just basically just jump back into some precepts and then just in the sit down or the lesson. But you just basically see like a different spirit, you know, of a possible 1/3 and a 2/3 ass nigga. You know, even he wanted this question. I heard that he brought the microphone out of his bag just to sincerely ask his question. He wanted to know about, you know, the breakdowns of Genesis, the 6th chapter. You know, going into, you know, being, you know, same, you know, along those lines, being, you know, man in the image of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know, basically breaking that down to him to get the proper understanding. You know, these what you call of the hopeful righteous elect, of a possibility of being a 1/3 of the nation of Israel. But I'm gonna just jump back into some precepts. I'm gonna read this John again. This is the book of John 10:27. It says, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." Right. My sheep hear my voice. Right. So the hopeful righteous elect is going to naturally gravitate towards this word and not combat, you know, the scriptures, or not combat the men that's bringing out the scriptures. But let's continue. This is the book of Proverbs 29:11. It says, "A fool uttereth all his mind," which was the first guy that walked up, you know, being a nigga. calling the Most High woman. It says, "But a wise man keepeth it in till afterwards." So you see that the Gadite you seen on the screen, the second guy that walked up, or possibly being the 1/3, he was paying attention as we was bringing the scriptures out. You know, he wasn't talking over the prophets. He basically, in sincerity, he wanted his question answered. It says, "But a wise man keep it until afterwards," right? So you see how the whole vibe changed, from the first guy we was dealing with into the second guy we was dealing with. These are the differences that the Lord, puts in between, the 2/3 and the 1/3. And this is going back into that first guy, that we was dealing with. So this is the book of Isaiah 3:12. It says, "As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err. It says, and destroy the way of thy paths." Right. So what? His woman was acting more of a man than he actually was, telling him to come on, different things like that. So his woman has dominion over him. Even though he's supposed to have dominion over his woman. But that's another lesson for another day. Because like I said, this the camp that we did this past Saturday, it's a lot of things that you could pull and do lessons from. But what? This is a 2/3. This is a condition of a 2/3. A lot of our people that our 2/3 have their women ruling over them. But let's continue. This is the book of Proverbs. Let me see, Salakia. Yep, this is the book of Proverbs 8 and 8. It says, "All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing forward or perverse in them." Here's the point, verse 9. It says, Salakia, brothers. Proverbs 8 and 9, it says, "They are all plain to him that understandeth." It says, "And right to them that find knowledge." Right, so it was plain for the for the guy that came up. Us, like I said, perceived through the spirit. This guy was a Gadite. For possibility of being a 1/3. It was plain to him, to receive certain things, because before we actually end the camp, he basically along the line said that he basically was putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and we help him do that through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So it was plain to him. To the first guy, it wasn't plain because the Lord didn't bestow this knowledge, wisdom, understanding unto him. The Lord ultimately gets the increase, and the Lord didn't give that man no increase. The Lord is not dealing with that man whatsoever. So you see the clear difference of who the Lord maybe possibly be dealing with, and who the Lord is not dealing with at all. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus 39-24. I'm going to wrap this lesson up in a second. It says, "As his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked." Right, they're plain unto the holy. So the hopeful righteous elect, this guy might be of the hopeful righteous elect. Lord willing, he continues to deal, but he was understanding everything that we were bringing out. Starting with the Elder Malcolm on down. It was plain unto him. He was understanding certain things that we were bringing out. The precepts we were bringing out. Pertaining to Genesis. Pertaining to he asked questions, I believe, about the Vatican. Different questions like that about King David. Different things like that he was understanding as we were bringing it out. So are they stumbling blocks into the wicked, right? So the first guy that came up, he didn't understand what we were bringing out. He was detesting the Bible, different things like that. You have his woman come up, try to defend him and things like that. These niggas are lost. The Lord is not dealing with 2/3 of our people. In that camp we had last Saturday was a sight to see. The Lord, like I said, I'm gonna just continue. I don't want to talk too much longer. Actually, I'm gonna close out with this one. This is the book of Proverbs 21:16. It says, "The man that wandereth out the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead." Right, that first guy, he's gone. The Lord has blinded him with all these different philosophies, That's that. He was going into many books. He was trying to, at the end, before he walked out, he was trying to detest the Bible. You know, his woman was being a complete demon. He was being a complete demon at the end of it. So the Lord basically shows you, that camp that we had, a clear difference between a 2/3 and the possibility of a 1/3. So with that being said, I hope this was edifying. I don't want to go out too much longer, but I just wanted to basically touch up on a few points, the camp we had Saturday. So with that being said, I hope it was edifying. Giving all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai Bashem Rakapadash. The one to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone taught us this truth. And salutations to the hopeful elect that's around the four corners of the earth. Hope this is edifying. And until next time, Wah Abba Abba.